Hi, my name is Denis and I will show you today a patch from scratch. The idea comes from Espen Soro, who is a producer from Norway. I think he's from Norway, I'm not 100% sure, but I think. And he did a video on eurorack, a platform on which he is very active. He showed us on this video how to achieve to design an acoustic snare, just with sound and noise. And I said to myself, okay, this is not so complicated, so what if I could try, I will try to make this on my eurorack system, which is absolutely not built for that purpose. It's absolutely not a drum machine or something. I don't have any drum module or anything like that on this system, but okay, I want to try this. And so the first part of the video is about designing the sound of this acoustic snare, and the second part will be to extend the patch to a musical idea, something musical, okay, with other elements, everything left on the system to make something with this acoustic snare. And so it will be a rhythm patch, quite rhythmic. So with marble I will use what's name? But there is a drum mode on the marble. I will use this one, which is a red mode. Okay, so let's get a patch.
Okay, first of all, I have to keep in mind that I will need several sound sources and as many VCAs. The Hex Mix VCA from Befaco is perfect for this. The cascade mode activated, all the channels are mixed to the last output. Designing this snare sound, I'll take everything I can from the module Sine from 2HB. This will really be my best friend. The fundamental tone comes from the sub-output that will provide me also the second partial, the fifth above the octave, thanks to the blend knob. The first partial, the octave, comes out from the main output. The third and the fourth partial will be our non-harmonic content. For an undetermined percussive sound, non-harmonic content is crucial. I'll take one of them from a self-oscillating filter from the left channel of Freak. Okay, maybe a little bit more of the fundamental. The fourth partial will be provided by the second VCO of my Mini Brute 2. I select the sine wave. Remember, only sines and noise will be used. And given that I'll certainly use the first VCO for something else, maybe a bass line or melody, I mustn't forget to put a dummy cable in the pitch input of the VCO2 to keep it unchanged. Okay, now let's tune, or maybe untune. Let's find a sweet spot between all this partial. A good balance, maybe, yeah. It's all about finding the good balance. Then noise comes in. This will be used to simulate the snare timbre. I'm taking this from the noise output of the Mini Brute 2. Since I probably need it for something else, I'm using here a stack cable. Okay, this is our raw stuff. Let's shape the sound now. The envelopes will be triggered by the T3 output of marbles, which is the snare output in its drum mode, And all the 4 channels of quadrax from IntelliJ will be our AD envelopes for this sound. I'm sending this envelope into a multiple. Firstly, this will shape the amplitude of the fundamental tone, and of course the second partial, since they are coming out of the same output of sine. And all these envelopes are set with an exponential shaping. The other partials will be shaped by another envelope, this with a shorter decay. I need 3 copies of this for the 3 left partials, the first, the third and the fourth. Okay, let's find some sweet spot now. Again, the partial must be much quieter than fundamental. Since the noise provides all the harmonics in the spectrum, it has to be attenuated quite a lot in the mix as well. Shaping the noise with a third envelope. This one needs a softer attack and a smoother decay, and so a less exponential shaping. Then the timbre comes out from underneath, just after the tone. I think I've still not found my sweet spot yet. I have to play a bit with the envelope shaping, amplitudes on the VCAs. Let's go now a step further in the audio path. Let's glue our mix with some distortion, for example. The module Freak is a really useful tool in a small system like mine, since it provides me many filter models, but also other sound processings like saturation, comps, distortion, wave folding. It can be stereo or dual mono. We can set a different algorithm for each of the 2 channels. I'm using it here in dual mode. The left channel provides me a sine wave as shown before. I put here my mix into the right channel, which is set to a distortion model called Flame. In the dual mode, the attenuator of the main knobs become the main control knobs for the right channel. The cutoff knob set here the amount of distortion. And I want this to be controlled by the same envelope that controls the amplitude of the fundamental tone. And we come closer and closer to the final result. The last step in the audio path is to add some time modulation like reverb and or delay. For this, mimeophone from Make Noise will come to our rescue. Since I have other stuff to mix before the FX stage, I'm using the AB+C from Bufaco as a submixer. I've set the mimeophone on the smallest tone with a more or less dark color and a bit of halo, so that combines a smooth comb effect with a kind of plate reverb. Last but definitely not least, I'll add a little burst of noise to add some transient into the mix. It will be added after the distortion, so it will not be part of our raw stuff. Channel A1 and A2 of AB+C can work as VCAs as well. So let's put another copy of the noise output of the Mini Brute 2 to the A2 input of AB+C. Since it's a quadrant multiplier, the level knob is this channel goes bipolar, so it's nearly impossible to find the O spot. Should I sacrifice the last VCA channel of the Hex Mix VCA? Well, with a small system, I have to make some compromise, don't I? So then we'll take the last envelope of quadrax, which will be set as a very, very short and snappy AD envelope. So, I think that we have our snare. Maybe could I take advantage from the wave folding function of sine to give more timbre variation to the sound. Let's take an attenuated copy of the first envelope to modulate the amount of wave folding. I will use one of the two attenuators available on the Mini Brute for that. Let's now make the same thing with the pitch of sine. I will take another copy of the same envelope to trigger my 2HP envelope. Triggering an envelope with an envelope. Why not? This 2HP has its own level attenuation, and I will need this since I may need the second attenuator of the Mini Brute for another purpose. I'm sending this envelope to the pitch input of sine and tune the level of the envelope, so the effect is quite subtle. And what if we tried to give more variation into the timbre each time it's triggered? I will try to affect either the full time of some of the envelopes and the level of the second partial, the blend parameter of sine. For now, I will control this parameter with the modulation wheel of the Mini Brute. I will certainly consider that the corresponding X output of marbles could be a better choice. Concerning the envelopes, I assigned the CV input to the full parameters of the three first envelopes and inverted the signal with some attenuation thanks to the attenuversion function available in Quadrax. Quadrax is a really cool module. I love this one. So, this time I think we found a good compromise for this sound. Yeah, when we have a snare, we absolutely need a kick and maybe some hi-hats. So let's begin with the kick. I will use a ring for mutable instrument and T1 for marble into strum of rings. Okay, we already have something with low brightness and not too much damping. There's not a lot of presence though. A common technique to add the presence is to apply a short envelope to the FM input of the oscillator. Let's use the ADSR of the Mini Brute and trigger it with the same source we've used for the strum input. Much better. Okay, hi-hat now. My problem is that I have only one envelope generator left, and I want it to shape my melodic voice. I can use the R-bar from Instro, which is a granular processor. I've just recorded some filtered noise in one of its buffer and I can now fire little grains here and there. So let's make the connections. The hi-hat and the mini boot's first VCO will be mixed in the upper part of AB plus C and fed in the right channel of mimeophone. Both outputs of mimeophone will go each to a mono channel of the final mixer slightly panned left and right. Here comes also the choice of the master clock. Since Marbles is the rhythm machine, it will also be the main clock. T2 output is the clock output of Marbles, regardless of the mode we use. T2 is also the output I will use for the hi-hat and to trick the envelope of the melodic voice. And here comes branches. And the little one beside branches is a little 3-channel mute-unmute module from Bastel Instrument. It's really a great tool for live situation. And I will use it to mute-unmute the different percussion voices. Let's use a copy of X2 from Marbles to modulate the length of the grains. Something's going wrong here. Gosh, I make a huge mistake with the connection of the multiple. Okay, cool. And now, what about some ratcheting? Some logical patching now. Let's say take 2 parallel outs from both channel of branches and put them in the logical part of kinks and take the minimum output, which with gates acts as an AND output. Put the result in the density CV input, the granular, after attenuating it through a VCA. It should also work with the clouds, I guess. No. Okay, and that's it for the drum part. Remember, we set the mimeophone repeats to the smallest zone. So by increasing the amount of repeat, we get some core plus strong effect that we can use for some melodic part. Maybe, we'll see. Now we'll give the VCO1 from the Mini Brute its task. The idea is to drive the melodic part by two different ways. Firstly from the marbles, and secondly from the Mini Brute, either from its sequencer or by playing the keyboard. I will have two gate and two pitch information to assign to this voice. I have the select module from WMD here, which is a 3-channel switch router, which will be perfect for that. Let's begin with the marble part. Basically, the information are coming from T2 and X2, but taking every single beat of the clock will be quickly boring. And remember that T2 is already plugged in branches. And guess what? I've still an output left. I'll need a sample and hold, so the pitch will change only when receiving a trig from branches. Then this thing is used as a precision adder to give me control on the octaves. Marbles, both pitch and gates, will be the channel A from select. The A side of 2 channel of select. And the keyboard and the sequencer from the Mini Brute will be the B side of both channels. Output of the first channel of select to pitch input of VCO1 of the Mini Brute. The second channel of select is used for the gates and will trigger the AD envelope generator of the Mini Brute. So let's listen to the result. Let's now provide some modulation source to the different parameters of our VCO. A copy of the AD envelope to modulate the wave folding of the triangle wave. And another one to modulate the cutoff point of the filter. Of course, this choice could change in the future. I can take a random stepped LFO synchronized to the clock to modulate the decay of the envelope. I must pass this modulation first through an attenuator. I have the attenuator 2 left on the Mini Brute in order that the modulation is not too dramatic and to have maximum control on it. Remember that I have the possibility to add another voice with the car plus strong effect coming out from the mimeophone. I can take a copy of X2 from Marbles to control the micro rate input of mimeophone which tracks 1 volt per octave. I can modulate the feedback parameter from the wire output from marbles, so this voice comes in and out, here and there. And why not a half-rectified copy of this same smooth random source to modulate the zone parameters of mimeophone, so it turns as a longer delay, here and there. Here I'm doing this. I'm changing the gate channel on select. I then long press on any key of my keyboard so that the gate is always high. Of course, it does work only if the AD of the mini brute is on the gate mode. To bring all this stuff even more alive, I can of course take another modulation source to modulate the color of the filter of mimeophone. Also from Mini Brute 2 now. Thanks to Select, it's very easy to change between it and marbles. Okay, and what about transforming the kick quickly into a bass line? X3 of marbles to volt per octave input of rings. And let's jam a bit. Of course, this is only the beginning. It will need some improvement until I will make a proper performance with this patch. I could use some modulation for rings. I could use the third channel of Select to bring some modulation to the velocity aspect of the melody. And maybe some other good ideas. This will be applied to the performance video, which is linked already here in the video description. are also linked down in the description, the video from Rect, aka Espen Storo, which has inspired this one, and of course my rack in the modular grid page, and maybe some other stuff. Up to you to see. Okay, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed listening and watching this video. If you like what I'm doing, consider to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell to be aware of the next one. And yeah, put a thumb up if you like. It's always a pleasure to make this video for YouTube. It's helped me, of course, to improve my own techniques. It gives me some challenges, some goals to achieve, and so on. So it's for you that I'm making this video, but it's also for me. So I hope you'll enjoy, and leave some comment freely. Really, it's always much appreciated. And yeah, see you next time. Cheers. Have a good one.